ladies and gentlemen, to an all-new reaction and review. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I have found us a real gem. I have found what is seemingly a rarity in this world. Tonight's film is a Japanese animated film, but there's a little bit of a story behind the version I'm going to show. Tonight's film is called Warriors of the Wind. Now, I need to explain the history behind this film and this title. In 1984, Hayao Miyazaki, legendary Japanese director, released a film called Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. The film apparently was a huge hit over in Japan. I actually don't have exact figures, so I couldn't tell you exactly how big a hit it was. One year later, a studio in the United States called New World Pictures decided to purchase the rights to it. And without telling Miyazaki, they cut over a half an hour of footage. They changed the names of a damn near every character, if fucking not every character, and they altered the dialogue to, I guess, try to make the film a little bit more American, I guess we could sort of put it. This film is reviled by damn near everybody. This film is hated by fans of Hayao fucking Miyazaki's films. Even if they've never seen Nausicaa, they hate this film because it is so heavily cut, and it basically is just the poster child for what was going on with Japanese anime in the US in the 1980s. Now, I should mention, I've never seen Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, so I'm going into this thing completely blind, and I'm basing this film on its own merits, which is probably bound to piss off a whole lot of people, because if I happen to watch this and for some stupid reason I actually think it's good, I don't know if I'm going to or not, but if I actually enjoy it, I know I'm going to get messages from people telling me that I suck. Why? Because apparently I enjoy a film that no human being on earth should ever enjoy. But hey, there is no way to know if I'm actually going to like it until we sit down and we actually try to give this thing a watch. So, it's time to sit back, relax, and check out Warriors of the Wind. Okay, I really have to ask this. Is she not wearing pants? I actually am kind of asking because it seems a little bit weird that as she happens to run, the fucking animators are making it a point to show us her crotch and her ass, but there's nothing there. Which I guess means that the toxic jungle that is sweeping the world is depriving people of their, genitals. Just seems a little bit weird. Just sort of thought I'd toss it out there. So, there apparently is a prophecy in this. A really badly worded and rather stupid sounding prophecy, but it's still a prophecy. At least they've got something to work with. Wait a minute. Now if her little glider thing is able to take off on its own, why the hell do they have to have it mounted onto a slingshot? Or rather, why did they have to have it mounted onto a slingshot earlier? That honestly, guys, is not a fault of this dub. That's a fault with the movie. It's actually a little confusing. Wow. So, the princess here is apparently able to whoop tons of ass and shatter swords with a stick that looks like it's just made out of wood. That's kind of cool, actually. I just have to say this. It's getting really creepy seeing all of these shots directly up the princess's skirt and having to see her, ass crack. It just seems a little creepy, really. So wait a minute. She's told that they're in a forest full of toxic gases, which may or may not be flammable. She still fires off her goddamn gun. Oh. I really hate stupid characters in movies. I really do. Okay, I just want to mention. I don't think that a prince has to announce that where he comes from, his father is the king. I don't know who the hell wrote that, but just seemed a little bit unnecessary. Okay, folks, I'm gonna say this right now. Every single time that this prince speaks, I want to stab him in the fucking throat. Almost all of his dialogue seems really stilted and unneeded. Shut the fuck up, you whiny bitch. Okay, I'm really getting kind of sick of the questionable choices for dialogue. They stop shooting, and then a good 10 seconds later, a commanding officer informs them to stop firing. It really bugs me, and I don't think that's going to improve over the next 26 minutes or so. You know, you would almost think if you were using a Gatling gun, you could hit something that is flying past you about 10 feet away. You would almost think that any fucking target which is that close would just be vaporized if you're using what is essentially a laser Gatling gun. But then again, I actually guess that this kingdom never bothered to teach accuracy when they were handing out the fucking guns. Okay, guys, I actually am willing to say this. After approximately an hour of build-up, the fire demon looks kind of cool. Granted, it's, falling apart, it looks kind of sick, but it still is a rather cool-looking creature. Okay, the ending was a little bit sappy, but it was an ending. So, why don't I shut off the movie here? So, it's time to discuss Warriors of the Wind. There really is a few things that I do have to cover. First thing that I want to talk about is the voice acting, because, frankly, the voice acting, it was a little odd. It was really odd in the sense that we have our lead character who's a princess. She looks to be anywhere between the ages of like 15 and 19. The actress who they cast to play her sounds like she's bordering on 40, if not older. The only actor I could identify by name is Cam Clark, and he plays that really irritating prince that I just couldn't stand. That's partially because almost everything he says is basically just narrating everything which anybody with a functioning set of eyes can see on the screen. And when he's not doing that, he is very loudly announcing that he is a prince and that his father is the king, as if that's somehow as if that's some sort of like a groundbreaking revelation. He really could have easily been cut completely out of the film, and it might have made it just a little bit better. Now, when it comes to all of the other voice actors, everybody else did a really good job. Everybody actually sounded appropriate for their characters in terms of gender and age, and really that's all that you can ask for. Now, the writing. I really now once again I have to say I've never seen Nausicaa. I've never seen what the fucking original version is like, but I can tell you that what I saw here actually had a rather interesting story. It wasn't the best story ever, but it was at least halfway decent. It actually is a rather serviceable story, and it is a story that has a couple of messages. It has really two big messages, and those are war sucks and man should not screw with nature. I really don't know if those were the messages that were in the original film, but those were kind of the two messages I was getting as I finished watching Warriors of the Wind. Now, why don't I start touching on a few of the like basic things that should pretty much be obvious if you know anything about the director of the original version. The freaking animation is just absolutely breathtaking and gorgeous. And the characters all have they all have very unique looks, so there's no way that you're going to get the characters mixed up. Well, actually there are a handful who actually happen to look like other characters, but that actually is when you jump into the voice cast and they kind of sort of are able to differentiate it slightly. Really, this movie, it really wasn't bad, but it also wasn't that good. And I'm going to tell you right now, the only way you can find Warriors of the Wind right now is if you like go on eBay or Amazon and you can find it on VHS. There's no way in hell this thing's ever getting released on fucking DVD. So you're going to have to go to eBay or Amazon, you have to find it on VHS, or just BitTorrent the movie. It's probably available on a ton of BitTorrent sites. I actually wish I could tell you which frickin' one I found my copy on, but I don't remember. So, there is that. And I would highly recommend it. At least check it out. It actually is a pretty good it's a pretty good like popcorn film. I mean, it honestly is nothing that is going to stick with you for ages, but it also isn't awful. So perhaps maybe I'm giving it a little bit of a recommendation simply because I haven't seen the original source, so I don't know how different it truly is. But this film, standing on its own, is pretty good, and I would highly recommend it if you actually can find a copy somewhere. At least give it a chance. Check it out. You will probably walk away and you're gonna think that it's at least decent, because hell, that actually sort of how I walked away from it. So folks, I really do not know what to say. I actually went into this one and I feared it was going to completely suck ass because of all the shit I have heard about it. And shockingly, it actually kind of surprised me slightly. Now, I do want to mention, folks, that my next episode, at least this is what I have scheduled, is going to be something drastically different from everything else I have done. Because so far, guys, I have done anime, I've done porn. God help me, I never want to watch that fucking porn again. Oh, Jesus. I've watched comedies, I've watched horror films, I've watched exploitation flicks, I've watched documentaries, but I have never watched a musical. And the next episode, folks, is going to be one big-ass musical that time completely forgot about. There's probably a really good reason for that, but I'm going to find out in the next episode of this. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.